All right, guys, Jake back here at J&J West Wing. Started bringing you guys along. I got a custom order here, and I got to finish up some coasters here that was requested. I got some tiles back here that I did some work on. This is going to be a drink tray. I had a customer ordered this one. It's supposed to have an engraving in the center of it to celebrate a anniversary of a special couple for them. These were some coasters I started a while back. Got them on the CNC that my son did for me, and his bit wasn't long enough to go down through far enough for what these boards were. So I'm going to run them through the planer, just keep running through the backside until they fall out. I probably could run them through the bandsaw and finish cutting them out there, but I think it'll just be easier to run them through the planer and get rid of them that way, and then I can use those for some engravings. Got one up here. This is kind of what they turn out like. They end up like a little coaster. They're flat on the bottom, and then we've got them rounded over the top, and then I engrave over the top of them. So they turn out pretty nice. So most people like them. My neighbor actually got me going on those. He wanted some round ones. I didn't typically do round. I just typically did the square ones, but he requested round, and after I did them, I really liked them. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do some round ones here, get those going, and have some stocks for those to do as well, plus this one. The ceramic tiles, these are some ceramic tiles that I started doing. These are like a granite porcelain is what this is. So it's able to be left outside, inside, whichever way you prefer to have them. I sourced these from Menards. These actually came from Mankato, Minnesota, when I was up there on the meet and greet with Clack and Ventari. I stopped at a Menards there, and they had them in stock. My local store here didn't have them in stock, but they had them in stock there, so I brought some back with me. So let me cover up the name here because I don't want to offend the family or anything. So there's the plaques that I do. Getting some reflection off of it, but there's the plaques that I do for memorials. And the CO2 laser does a good job with that. I do an infill with colors. So this is kind of a sample plate that I show the people. This is just our logo at our local school that I work at here. This is a white here, and these are a couple of different grays and silver tones in here. So it gives them an idea what they want and how they want them and stuff. The one I just showed you actually had a silver metallic inlay that they requested for those, and I actually 3D print the stands for those as well. I don't have one out here. Give me just a second here, and I'll grab one and show you what it looks like. So these are just a 3D printed easel that I do. They come apart, so I can ship them that way, so I can lay them flat if I need to ship. Then they can assemble them, and they do a wonderful job. I'll stack up one of these that doesn't have the. So there, they set those very nicely. So turns out to be a nice gift memorial that somebody can set up in their house if they choose to put it out in their flower bed or walking area. They can lay them down outside because these are porcelain, so they'll withstand being outside. So it's a nice little project that I do. I enjoy making the customized products. So that's what we're going to do here. Get things moved around here and get started. I run a very small shop here. I think it's a 14 by 18 shop here, I think, and you can see I've got it pretty full. Behind the camera there is all my radio equipment. You can probably hear the 3D printer running in the background as well. I've got some Milwaukee battery holders that I'm printing out for a customer. I got 4 of those to do, and then I got 4 of the tool holders that I'm going to do right after that. So that'll be running for a while. I got the lasers over here on the one side, and then all the woodworking tools are back here. I got some over there beside the camera there as well. I got a planer over there, got a joiner here, and then the rest of it here. So you're going to see kind of what I'm doing here and moving things around. I have to, most of my stuff's on wheels out here so I can move it around. About the only thing that's not is the joiner. I have that one stationary. Everything else is pretty much on wheels so that I can move it around and utilize my space here. I got a nice workbench here and move it out of the way and grab a hold of the table saw and maneuver it out and around. And it's on wheels here. flip them up and drop it down to the ground here and make it stable and safe to operate, so it's not rolling around while I'm trying to operate it. But there you have it. That's what I do. I got a cord behind me here that I plug all my stuff into here. I'm eventually going to put a drop down here in the center so I can just plug in from there and do it that way. But this is the way we work through it here. So we'll get this board cut, get back in here, and let you see it after it's cut. Then we'll move the table saw out of the way and bring the joiner out, run it through the joiner, and get that process going to get it cut down to size and smoothed out and flattened. And so stick around. All right, guys, we're back. Got the drink tray all cut out and sized and milled down and smoothed out. I got some sanding to do on it before we can throw it in the laser, but that's all done. Got a few coasters I cut out of there or got done. I saved this one to kind of show you what I do. Just grind these down to the point where I can start seeing them. You can really start to see them through the back side. So just take these and break them right out of there. They just break off. And you can pop them out of there. You literally grab a hold of it and you break it. It's that easy. Super easy. Take a little sandpaper and buzz around the outside of them. Those things are ready to use. Super, super nice. My son did a wonderful job on those when he did those, so they worked out nice. It's easier for me to do them on the planer to just go through and mill it down till they pop out and do that, and then I don't have to worry about not getting them cut straight on the table or bandsaw. And this here just does a wonderful job with them this way. I did another set like these before when my neighbor requested his, so it turned out nice that way, and they're very minimal labor for me to do after that. So I'll get the tops of them surfaced down, and they get a little black going through the planer. Got an old Delta, 1999 Delta 12-inch planer that a local woodworker here was selling on Marketplace, and I jumped on the deal and went to go buy it. And on the way there, he sends me a message and says, "Hey, something's wrong with this. Don't come. Something's wrong. I don't want to sell it for that. Blah, blah, blah." Ended up calling back and forth as I was headed there. He was about 40 miles from me, so I was headed there to pick it up, and we ended up calling and talking on the phone, and he said it was making an awful noise and wanted me to not buy it. So I said, "Is there a chance it could be repaired?" And he said, "Well, if you want to come and get it and try to repair it, you're more than welcome to, and I'll just give it to you." So, okay. So I kept driving, got there. He fired it up, and it did. It sounded like it was ready to blow up. Turned it off. I just threw it in the truck, drove back home, got back to the house. I popped the side cover off where the motor and belt system is, and the crazy pulley had worked its way loose. The keyway had come loose in it, and the set screw that goes onto the keyway come loose. Whole thing slid out. I slid everything back in place, fired it back up, and it sounded like brand new. So I pulled it back off and got a new keyway and put it back together. And I've had it for, I don't know, 3-4 years now. No, actually, I got that in 20, just before COVID hit. I picked that up. So yeah, I've had it 6 years now. So it's been great. I just had that same pulley came loose on me again. I guess doing some research, I found out that it's known for that, and the pulley is available aftermarket. Somebody's machining and making them, and when it took that pulley out, it took out the cover for the belt. I was able to buy the belt, but I couldn't get the cover. Oh, lo and behold, good old internet, searched up, found a 3D file for the cover, printed out the cover, and I was able to put a brand new cover on it that I printed out on my 3D printer. So I bought a $14 pulley and I think it was a $6 belt. And that's basically all I have in that thing that I've ran for 2 years now. I just downloaded a file and printed for the sharpening of the blades. It's just a nice little plastic V, basically, that you put your blades in, and you can run them on the whetstone or however you want to sharpen them, and sharpen your own blades for it. So it's been wonderful. So that's what that's all about. Got that. I'll get this sanded down and get that ready to go, and we'll touch base once we get that done and get ready to throw it in the laser here. So hopefully we'll get that done today and get it put in the laser and get things finished up for the ladies. So with that said, we'll cut off this video and we'll jump back in here when I get it all processed and ready to go in the laser, and we'll show you that process as well. Stick around, guys. All right, guys, we're back in here. I got these all processed and done. However, I'm going to show you the goods and the bads of this woodworking. I got this done for the customer, running through the planer. Took a huge chunk. There was a knot right here that knocked the whole side of it out. So back to the drawing board we went. Had to start all over. And I reached out to the customer because I didn't like the looks of what this is supposed to be a drink tray. It looks too square for a drink tray to me. So I reached out to the customer and explained to them my thoughts, sent them a picture of that, and we came up with a new design. And this is the new one that we came up with. So we're going to have a 11 by 16, I believe we did. I'll have to look at the measurements again. 11 by 16 or 11 by 18 is what we came up with. So glued up another system, started over. Told her it was going to be a little delay just because of the issues we ran into with the knot flying out of it, and had to start over. So we'll get the clamps off of this and we'll get started with this today and get this one cut down and planed and leveled back out for them, and get this one ready to throw in the laser. I was hoping to put the other one in the laser yesterday, and then when we ran into the problems with that, I decided to start all over. So had to get some more wood out and get it all glued up and ready to go. So I did that, and I went ahead and finished up the 3D prints. These are battery holders and tool holders for Makita. I had a local company here that reached out and they wanted 4 of each. So they wanted 8 different things. So 3D printer ran for quite a while yesterday. But I got them done. They're supposed to pick them up today sometime. So we got them done, and I've got another memorial plaque. Sadly to say, we had another staff member, had a family member that passed away, so I've got another one of those to make. So we'll get working on those today and keep you along for the process here, and I'll update you as we get going through here and get this one processed and ready to go. And then I'll bring you back and show you how I do my borax treatment on this. I do a borax treatment on a lot of this stuff just because I get a nice black engraving. It seems to be very popular around this area instead of the brown engraving. People seem to like the black ones really well. So I'll take you along and show you that process, and then we'll get it in the laser, and I'll let you see the process of that when as it's going through here. So we'll take you along for the ride. Hang in there. All right, guys, here we are. We got it all sanded down, ran through the planer, straightened up, ready to go. Had it all rounded the corners over a bit and got it all straightened out here. So I told you I'd bring you back and show you the borax treatment here. So I've decided which side of the board I want. However, I do an engraving on both sides. I usually put my company logo on the back on something like this. This is a memorial plaque for a wedding anniversary, so I don't want to put our logo on the front. So I'll put it on the back just so that they can reference back later to see where it came from. So in a situation like that, I end up spraying both sides with borax. So it takes a little bit longer. However, it's water. I've got a fan behind me that it's going to blow and dry it down real quick. So it doesn't take real long. But this is the borax. I've told in a few of my other videos, 2 tablespoons of borax, 800 milliliters of water. I use warm water just so it dissolves a little better. Shake it up, you're good to go. And then you just mist it. Just mist your tray, your boards, whatever you're making. I usually go on the sides because it does leave kind of a discoloration. I just walk around it, spray it. And then I just take it, set it over in front of the fan, let the fan blow it and dry it down, and take care of it. So it's not real hard. It just takes a little bit of time to do that. And then once you put it in the laser, you engrave on it, and it gives you a nice black engrave. Once it comes out of there, you have to put a clear coat of some sort in a spray form on this. If you put an oil base where you're just, or a paint on style, you're going to ruin your thing. So you have to do a spray just so you can mist it over and it seals that in. It's just like a powder ash from wood. So you have to You have to put that over the top of it to seal it in. Once you're done with that, you can leave it that way, or you can put a clear coat with a gloss in it. I usually just do a matte finish at first, just so that if I decide I don't want to put a gloss on it, I don't have to. And then I can choose to add gloss later if I want to. But that's kind of the process. So we'll let this dry. I'll flip it over, spray the other side, and we'll get both sides ready to go. I'll come back here in a little bit and I'll show you the light burn side of it. I've got the program all on over there, and I've designed this already, so I'll just get it loaded up in there, and I'll take you along for that process and get it into the laser. I'll try and get a time-lapse video of this as well in the laser, just so that you can kind of see how it engraves and the darkness of it. So we'll we'll follow up in a little bit once this is dry on both sides, and we'll get you back into the light burn and show you how this works. All right, guys, here we are back on the computer. We'll jump into light burn here and let you see what the process of getting this set up and aligned for a board. It's pretty easy, so it's not that big of a deal. So we'll jump over to light burn here and show you the process there. Okay, here we are. We've got light burn. This is the logo we're going to be engraving on that board that we've been working on, and put the borax treatment on that's behind me drying here. So the board that I'm using is 11 by 18. So I'm just going to take the square here, and we're going to make a tool path, and we're going to make that the size of the board. So if I leave it in inches, I go over here, keep this unlocked so I can manually put my sizes in here. So 18 inches long, and then it's 11 inches tall. So there's my board. Let's not do that. Let's go here. And we're just going to say this is this small. So we want to put it in the center here, but we want to enlarge this to fit this board. So I'm just going to enlarge it here just a little bit to see. That might be a little too big, so we'll do that. Then you hold your control button. I think you can actually do it with shift as well. You use shift or control while you've got both of them highlighted, and then hit your bullseye, and it will put this in the center. You always have to highlight. So let's go back here. Let me go through that process again. You highlight the one that you want to move. You don't want this part to move. You want this one to move over to where you're going to do. So you highlight that one. Then you select your square and then center it, and it'll put that in the center perfectly. There's no more alignment process. If you decide you want to move it up or down, you just highlight it. You can use your arrow keys to move up or down and do it that way if you decide. So sometimes you have stuff at the bottom you want to put in there, so you can raise it up to the top or whatever. But that's kind of the process. You just highlight it, hit the center, and it bullseyes it right in the center there. So you don't have a whole lot of alignment you have to do with that. So that's all there is to do on that. When I send it over to the laser, it's going to frame the tool path. So that's what it will do that. So all I got to do is get the board lined up for that. Some people struggle with getting the stuff aligned with that. You can always take a piece of cardboard, lay in your laser, just cut out the size that turn this into an actual cut instead of a tool path, and then cut this out on your laser. Then you can just lay your board right in that section, and it's perfect every time. I do that a lot when I'm doing coasters and things. I haven't really started making any jigs yet. I just have done it with cardboard so far. So once I get to the point where I'm doing more and more of them, I'll probably make some jigs. But just kind of in a fly by the seat of my pants right now doing some of this stuff. So always trying to get it done as quick as I can for the customers. Something that I want to point out here is your tool path or your material library down here. You have the use of that, and you can see I've set up several different uh, things in here for just images that I'm doing, what I want my settings at, my granite tiles that I'm doing for the memorials. I've got all that set up in here, but I also have the borax here. The borax is kind of an amazing feature because you don't need much power for this at all. So I want to highlight the black that I'm going to use for the engrave, go to the borax and assign that, and there you go, 180 millimeters a second at 12.5% power. Very minimal power to make this work. The laser I have, which is an Omtech 60 watt, um, it actually shuts off the laser at 10 watts of power. So anything below 10 watts, it won't even fire. So that shows you the minimal amount of power you need for this. I keep it low at the 180 just for the purpose of getting a better quality engrave. If you see here when you're zoomed out, it kind of looks funny, but if you zoom in, you can see lots of detail here. So, but you get lots of detail on the lower. I have done a lot of offsets locally. A friend of mine reached out, or I reached out to him to get some guidance on getting some better looking engraves, and him and I walked through the process of doing setting up my offsets. So there's a few videos on YouTube that he referenced me to, and I was able to watch those and learn and get the offsets done. So now I can literally go up to 300 or 400 millimeters a second and still be pretty good. But I just like to keep it slower. I'm not in a huge hurry that I'm mass producing things. So go up here to your preview and kind of see what it's going to do. You can watch how it's going to engrave. Um, Slide that back and forth. But it looks like it's going to take about 45 minutes to do it. 46.54. So that's going to be the process of doing that. So as soon as my board gets done, I'll throw this in the laser and we'll let you see this process. But pretty easy project, simple project. Once I get it out of here and get it clear coated and stuff, I got handles to put on the side of it. The customer got some handles they want me to put on the end of it. It's going to be more of a display piece for them, but she wants it to look authentic. So we're going to put those on for her and get that all taken care of. So we'll jump back in here once we get ready to send it to the laser.